Iman Shumpert, who I really, really like, did something that was so nasty that, Iman, we got to call you down to the carpet, bro. Your shenanigans needs to be called out. And this was nasty work. He was on one of these shows, NBA Today, with Brian Windhorst, the rest of the guys. Kendrick Perkins were up there. And then Iman Shumpert goes on to say that if LeBron plays with Stephen Curry, it will be the first time in his NBA career he can play with an NBA player that won't he won't be able to double. The other player that they can't help off of. Iman Shumpert said that with a straight face. Take a look at Iman here.
It's like, we gave Katie
does that hurt a little
slack,
bit?
and then, but
right,
whatever, we'll get over it first. And then, again, to watch LeBron, especially in this time in his career, he'll have somebody that you now can't help off.
Iman Shumpert appeared on live television and made a statement that instantly grabbed attention. In just one sentence, he brushed aside several of LeBron James' biggest former teammates. Kyrie Irving, Dwayne Wade, Anthony Davis, Luka Doncic, they were all dismissed to strengthen one argument about Stephen Curry. And the way he delivered it made it seem like there wasn't even room for debate. That comment quickly sparked reactions across the basketball world. So today, we're breaking down the take that left fans stunned and asking whether Shumpert had a legitimate basketball argument or simply disrespected some of LeBron's greatest teammates. Before we dive in, let me know what you think. Was Iman Shumpert making a valid point, or did he cross the line by downplaying LeBron's former teammates? Share your opinion in the comments. Now, let's get into exactly what Shumpert said, because this is the quote that started the entire conversation.
To watch LeBron, especially in this time in his career, he'll have somebody that you now can't help off. To right now, both of them, to have somebody that it kind of eliminates a double team, so to speak, but all the more reason for you to say we need to send a double team on these two guys. It's just going to be
He made the comment during an appearance on NBA Today while discussing the rumored Warriors super team featuring Stephen Curry, LeBron James, Draymond Green, and Anthony Davis. In the middle of the conversation, Shumpert claimed that if LeBron were to join Curry, it would be the first time in his entire career that he had ever played alongside someone defenses simply couldn't leave alone. The first time. Think about that for a second. At first glance, it might sound like a reasonable basketball argument. But once you look back at the teammates LeBron has shared the floor with throughout his career, that statement starts falling apart almost immediately. For Shumpert's claim to hold up, you'd have to believe that every star who has played next to LeBron was someone defenses were perfectly comfortable ignoring on the perimeter. And that's just not true. That isn't just a hot take, it completely rewrites the history of LeBron's career.
He's the first player that nobody can help off of? So, wait a minute. Defenses can help off of D Wade? Are we being serious right now? Defenses can help off of D Wade. You could guard Kyrie Irving one-on-one? You're not sending a help defender to Kyrie Irving? Anthony Davis. You leaving Anthony Davis open in the post? Luka Doncic. You can help off of Luka Doncic? These people, man, this is why I don't like LeBron fans. I don't like them.
Let's go through the names because LeBron's list of teammates is loaded with elite talent. First up is Kyrie Irving, arguably one of the greatest ball handlers and toughest shot creators the NBA has ever seen. Are we really supposed to believe defenses were backing off Kyrie and daring him to shoot? This is the same player who buried one of the most iconic shots in NBA Finals history with Stephen Curry defending him. Nobody willingly leaves Kyrie Irving open. If anything, opposing teams were constantly sending extra defenders his way. And let's stay on Kyrie for a second, because this alone makes Shumpert's argument hard to believe. In Game 7 of the 2016 NBA Finals, the biggest game of LeBron's career, it was Kyrie who knocked down the championship-winning 3 over Steph Curry. That's the very player Shumpert is now using as the standard for someone defenses can never ignore. So not only was Kyrie impossible to leave open, he also delivered the biggest shot of the series right over Curry. Pretending LeBron never had a teammate like that ignores one of the most unforgettable moments in NBA history. Then there's Dwayne Wade. During his peak, Wade wasn't just another all-star, he was one of the 5 best players in basketball. He won scoring titles, earned a Finals MVP, and could get a bucket against anyone. The idea that defenses simply abandoned Wade to focus only on LeBron doesn't hold up. Those Miami teams had 2 offensive superstars that demanded attention, not just one. At this point, Shumpert's first-time argument is already falling apart, and we've only mentioned 2 teammates. The list keeps getting stronger. Anthony Davis is another player defenses have always had to account for, whether he's dominating in the post, attacking from the elbow, or knocking down jumpers. Then add Kevin Love, who was an all-star stretch big and a key piece of Cleveland's 2016 championship team. His shooting forced opposing centers away from the basket and created valuable spacing. These weren't role players riding LeBron's coattails, they were proven stars capable of taking over games themselves. But the biggest hole in Shumpert's argument is Luka Doncic. He claimed LeBron has never shared the floor with a teammate defenses couldn't help off of, even though LeBron just spent last season alongside Luka, one of the most dangerous offensive players in the world. Luka can effortlessly score 30 points on any given night, and no defense is comfortable leaving him alone. If the argument doesn't even fit LeBron's most recent teammate, it's hard to see how it holds up when looking at the rest of his career.
You could make your point without trying to bring down all of the other greats, and this is what they do. They trash all of his teammates, but then want to elevate Scottie Pippen to like Hakeem Olajuwon's level, or Kobe Bryant's level, or Shaq's level, or Magic Johnson. This is what they do.
When you really think about what Shumpert said, he essentially dismissed an incredible list of LeBron's former teammates with a single statement. Kyrie Irving, Dwayne Wade, Anthony Davis, Kevin Love, and Luka Doncic, all elite players, several of them future Hall of Famers, were brushed aside just to make a potential partnership with Stephen Curry sound even more extraordinary. That's why so many fans pushed back. It wasn't simply about complimenting Curry. It felt like everyone who had previously shared the floor with LeBron suddenly didn't count. To be fair though, there is a version of Shumpert's argument that actually works if it's phrased differently. The point he seemed to be reaching for was Curry's unmatched spacing and off-ball gravity. Steph forces defenders to stay attached to him the moment he crosses half court, whether he has the ball or not. Very few players in NBA history create that kind of constant pressure. And Shumpert understands that better than most because he experienced the exact opposite while playing alongside LeBron. During his years in Cleveland, Shumpert has openly admitted that opposing defenses were perfectly comfortable leaving him open if it meant sending extra help toward LeBron. That wasn't speculation, it was the scouting report every night. Credit to him for being honest about the role he played. From his perspective, the dream is seeing LeBron paired with someone defenders simply cannot abandon, because he knows firsthand what it's like to be the player defenses willingly ignore. That's where his point had some merit. But the problem wasn't the idea, it was the way he presented it. Saying Curry would be the first teammate LeBron has ever had who commands that level of defensive respect is simply inaccurate. There's a huge difference between calling Steph a one-of-a-kind shooter and pretending LeBron never played next to elite offensive stars before. One is a basketball observation. The other rewrites history to strengthen an argument. Shumpert didn't escape criticism either. Kendrick Perkins, who is sitting on the same set and has actually supported the idea of a Warriors super team, immediately challenged him. Perkins reminded everyone that Curry is probably the most exhausting player in basketball to defend because of his non-stop movement. He even referenced the 2016 finals, when Matthew Dellavedova famously chased Curry around until he became completely exhausted. That example showed exactly how much attention Steph demands every possession. Perkins wasn't just arguing for the sake of arguing, either. He laid out a basketball case. Pairing LeBron and Curry, he said, would almost guarantee one of the league's best offenses. Add Draymond Green's defensive leadership, LeBron's versatility, and complementary pieces like Kristaps Porzingis and Brandon Podziemski, and suddenly you're talking about a roster capable of ranking near the top on both ends of the floor. Whether you agree or not, it was at least a basketball argument built on actual roster fit. Instead of backing away, Shumpert shifted the conversation. He started saying Curry isn't the same off-ball player he was during his prime and doesn't move quite as relentlessly anymore. That's a completely different debate from where he started, but that's where the discussion went. What began with one controversial sentence turned into a full-blown exchange on live television, all because of a claim that overlooked many of LeBron's greatest teammates. As for the idea that Curry has slowed down, there's at least room for discussion. Nobody denies Steph is older now. But even at this stage of his career, defenses still treat him like the greatest shooter alive. Teams continue chasing him through screens and refusing to leave him alone. So suggesting defenders can now comfortably help off Curry is almost as difficult to defend as saying they could always ignore Kyrie or Wade. Shumpert kept changing his angle, but the argument never became much stronger. Stepping back, this conversation points to something much bigger than one television debate. It reflects a pattern fans have noticed for years. Too often, arguments meant to praise LeBron end up minimizing everyone around him. Instead of celebrating his greatness on its own, the discussion turns into tearing down teammates and other stars. That's one reason these debates become so divisive. This also isn't the first time Shumpert has weighed in on LeBron's teammates. Not long ago, Richard Jefferson said on television that playing with LeBron can be incredibly difficult, and Shumpert agreed. Neither of them claimed LeBron was a bad teammate. Their point was that playing beside him comes with overwhelming expectations. Every season is judged as championship or failure, and when things fall short, teammates usually absorb much of the criticism. That's a fair observation, but it also shows why conversations surrounding LeBron's supporting casts are almost always emotionally charged. There's another interesting twist, too. A few years ago, Shumpert appeared on Shaquille O'Neal's podcast and argued that LeBron was the player who normalized the modern superteam era. According to Shumpert, stars didn't regularly join forces before LeBron, but after his moves, the trend exploded around the league. Now fast forward to today, and the same Shumpert is debating the pros and cons of LeBron potentially joining another superteam in Golden State. The irony is hard to miss. He criticized the formula before, yet now he's analyzing what might be its latest version. And that's why so many people reacted the way they did. Too often, making LeBron's accomplishments seem even greater involves diminishing everyone around him. Former teammates suddenly become role players, other legends get picked apart, and every debate turns into comparing instead of appreciating. Rather than simply saying LeBron is one of the greatest players ever, the conversation becomes, LeBron is great.